Hello. Hello. So today is going to be a bit of an improv. Just had the idea this morning, basically, for those of you who are in Northern America. I'm actually in France, so this is afternoon. And basically, I thought it would be a good habit to host live stream sessions with you guys and gals on Fridays at the same hour every time. The idea is to keep these pretty informal and just kind of walk you through what we released recently in WeWeb, what's coming soon, maybe answer some community questions live, and some questions from the chat, and also deep dive in some projects from time to time. I think sometimes maybe someone from the tech team will actually host these instead of me to kind of walk you through how you can build custom components for WeWeb. Anyway, we'll keep it fairly informal. And what I thought I'd do today is give you a quick update of the product updates that went through this week. Try to give you a little bit of visibility of into what's coming next. I'd like to answer a few community questions live, and then what we'll do is we'll do a deep dive into our public roadmap, which we have on like feedback.weweb.io. And the idea is to do a lot of people ask us how we built this. So we made it with WeWeb, obviously. And the idea is when you're logged in, you have the ability to upvote or downvote, cancel your upvote of a feature, and this updates a database on our side. So a lot of people have asked us how we built this, and I thought I'd give you a little bit of an overview of that today. Um, so first, let's maybe talk about what's new in WeWeb. So what's new in WeWeb if we look at the product updates? So for the like on this page on the product updates, you can see like some tickets that were pushed this week, for example. So now your WeWeb apps are single page applications, which is pretty cool. And one of the developers on our team shared this article with us. I thought maybe yeah, that can be, you might enjoy this, so I'll post it here if you want to check it out. And yeah, the idea is now we made the choice to really become a web app builder. We that choice was kind of in the works since November already, when we started adding no code workflows and focusing less on like fancy animations or stuff like that, which you can't really do in no code and WeWeb at the moment. We shifted our focus in November to being a web app builder, and the now your web apps with WeWeb are really single page applications, so you won't need to reload the page every time. What that means is, for example, our user documentation, which is also made in WeWeb. It means that like when you right now when you click on an article, the page reloads entirely, and with the SPA, basically, I'll need to republish the project. But with the SPA, when you click on the nav bar, the menu, the sidebar on the left will not change because it's a linked section throughout the pages. So only this content will change. It makes for a much smoother user experience. So it's pretty cool, and the team was really excited. Obviously it was technically challenging, so it took a while, and some of the releases we were planning for the month of June have been delayed slightly as a result, but they're still coming fairly soon. So in terms of public roadmap, we've got the Stripe plugin, which I know a lot of people have been asking for, obviously, and we thought we would be releasing it in June. It'll take probably another week or two. It's basically, the plugin is ready; it needs to be QA'd. So yeah, that's something that is coming very, very soon. The branching in workflow is coming very, very soon. Same, the table for CRUD, which we also call data grid, that's coming very soon as well. All of these are coming basically, yeah, with the next release. All of these are ready and in QA, except maybe the Supabase authentication. I would need to check, but I think even the Supabase. Let me check quickly. Supabase. I think even Supabase auth is coming very soon as well. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening now. And what else did I want to show you? Yeah, that's it really in terms of roadmap. The Kanban element is actually it's actually in progress now, so I should shift it to progress. Um, and yeah, maybe before answering community questions, what I'll do is I'll deep dive right away into how we built this the product roadmap on our site. So let me share the our project here. So this is the product roadmap in WeWeb, and what you see here is we have a bunch of Airtable collections, and then we have one columns element, and inside that column element there, we go and get the information from the roadmap collection, and we have a workflow. We have an upvote button, which is basically so if when a user is logged in, we know if they have upvoted the feature already or not. If they haven't upvoted, we display the upvote button and have a workflow on there where we execute a global workflow, which is the upvote, sorry, yeah, the upvote workflow. And here we just pass it an item. So the current item ID, and the global workflow looks something like this. So we create a record in Airtable, and we say in our, the email of the user who is logged in, and that's the parameter that we have. So we have the info when the user clicks on the item. Anyway, this seems a bit abstract, so I thought what would be cool is to actually do it with you. So I redid it like quickly this morning, but I can get rid of this. I'll want to do it with you. And so I'll get rid of this project here, which is the finished project, and show you like from start to finish. And what I did here this morning as well is I thought, you know what? Instead of using Airtable, I would actually prefer to use Xano. And the reason for that is because we can protect API endpoints. So right now, the upvotes per user, we want to be able to protect that endpoint, and we can do that in Xano. So what I did is I started a new project in Xano, and I imported my tables from Airtable. So those were the 3 tables. And basically for this project, they're like the first thing we needed to do like is structure our table. So I imported the Airtable ones to Xano, but right at the beginning of the project, when we first did it with Airtable, we had to ask ourselves how we wanted to to structure our data. And I think that's with a lot of our clients, it's like the one thing that sometimes they don't spend enough time thinking about. And if you don't think about if you it's really an area of your project where you want to think about it in advance, because it will have so many consequences. And I thought a cool little article I found, so I don't know Databricks, I don't know what they do or anything, but I thought this was interesting about like asset transactions, and the notion of like how you build your databases, and the idea that items like each transaction should be isolated. Same, I'll share it here. Uh, but basically the idea is, um, I think the most important to me anyway, and I'm not the most technical, like, I'm not a developer, I can write HTML, CSS, I can write a script in Python, but I'm not like I don't really know a lot about JavaScript, I don't know much about, databases, but I know I know enough to be dangerous, as the saying goes. So anyway, the concept that I think is most interesting that I learned on while I was creating that roadmap project is the idea that when multiple users are reading and writing from the same table all at once, like their transactions need to be isolated so that if there are transactions that so that like when the transactions happen at the same time, they don't interfere with or affect one another. And and yeah, and I think that's really important for the upvote system because the first time when I the first time I I started on the project, what I did is basically I had a list of like tickets with titles and descriptions and the type. And what I did is I had a column here that was so here is the upvotes. I made it small because they're user email addresses, so I don't want to show those. But basically, this is a linked field. It's linked to the upvotes table, and I'm showing the emails now. So because yeah, initially what I had done is I had a column. I had basically one table with everything, and when if someone upvoted, it would update this this record. The problem is like if two people upvoted at the same time, there might have been a conflict. Whereas now, because it's a linked field, two people who upvote, like they will, each upvote will be a line here, and then the tickets here will be, the linked field will automatically update, but it won't affect the entire record. So that's like the idea of isolation. And for me, it was a brand new concept, and since then I've noticed, you know, uh, quite a few users do this choose the same approach as I had chosen at the beginning. So I thought I'd share this as well. Okay, so that's I want to show you that. And so now actually let's try to do this together. So um you saw here I have three tables. These are so the public backlog is actually a list of tickets. So a list of titles, and the way we work at WeWeb is basically we have a file with all the user feedback that we get. We include it in the file. So for example, if you make a request here in feature requests, this will populate a file that then the product team look at, and they review every single request, and then they basically they decide what to prioritize. They chat with the dev team and see what's possible and all that, and that's how they prioritize. And so when you make a request here, it's not automatically, it doesn't automatically come on the public roadmap. It first goes to a file that we review internally. And then what I do is well, what the team does first is they review all the tech team, basically product and devs, they review all the user feedbacks, they prioritize. And then when they think, okay, you know what, we're going to explore this, then they let me know. Basically they click on a boolean, they say if it's true or false, and if it's true, it comes into my pipeline, into my backlog. And what I do here is I rephrase the title and description so that it makes sense to everyone who reads this, because sometimes it's like, sometimes the description will be very long, sometimes so I tried to make it more digestible on a public website, and that's how it goes. And basically, here it's me, I'll catch up with the product team every week, and I'll update it. So to say, and for now we're doing this manually. So I'll say if it's in plan, if it's so under review is the first step. It means that the tech team said, okay, you know what, we're going to explore this. So it's under review. For example, reusing styles using CSS classes like Webflow does. Um, that's something that we want to explore. It's under review. We wanted to make sure that people want it. Obviously, they do. The npm plugin, we said, you know what, it's a pretty good idea. Let's put it here. Let's see if users want us to do it faster, basically. So that's the under review phase. Then the plan phase is really when it's on the roadmap. Hey Mariano, good to see you. And thanks for all your help in the community. Really appreciate it. And yeah, so then basically when it's on the roadmap, when it is in one of the developers' roadmap, I'll update it. I'll put it in planned, and once they start working on it, once I know that the dev team have started working on it more, and when I say working on it is more than exploration, it's they've actually started coding, then I'll switch it and I'll put it in progress. And the cabin element actually is in progress now, so I'll move that after the stream. So that's the idea of how it works. So we have the list of tickets here, and then we have the type of tickets. So if it's a new element, bug, improvement, new integration, new feature. So the bugs won't show here. I don't think we use them anymore, but basically this is this tag. It's what I use to fill out this tag, which can be useful because you might want to look at new features, or you might want to look only at new integrations, kind of want to know which new integrations are coming. So Stripe and Supabase. And actually one that I will update that I will put under review here is the Sendgrid integration. We've been hearing requests for that, so we'd like people to upvote, let us know if it's urgent for them, if they would like it, or if it's kind of nice to have. Okay, and then the third table we have is the upvotes. So that's when a user upvotes. So when they click on the upvote button, it will populate this this field. And finally, I just added this here. That's something I did this morning, so I'm not sure we'll use it, but you get the idea. So that's kind of the how to like structure your data. Now you actually need to add the data to WeWeb. So what I did initially, I had done with Airtable, but basically you can choose your data sources. So I have Airtable and Zano here. I can actually get rid of Airtable. I'll get rid of it afterwards. But and Zano, I just there are plenty of tutorials focused on that. But the idea is you add your Zano instance, and then you can add your collection. So the roadmap tickets, for example. Those are here, so it'll get the endpoint on roadmap. And in Xano, I have two endpoints that look at the tickets. I have one where so I'm getting all the records from the public backlog, where the public status is not in production. So those are on the roadmap. And then I cloned the endpoint. You can clone an endpoint here in Xano. And I have the same thing, except it's in production. If this public status is in production, and again, this is something that I update manually for now, then it's my in production endpoint. I wanted to keep those two separate. So I like to, I could have had just one endpoint with all the tickets and then filtered, depending on which page I was on, if I was on the public roadmap or so if I was on the public roadmap, I could have filtered only the ones that are not in production, and then on the product updates page, I could have filtered only the ones that are in production. I could do that. I like to have two separate endpoints. I think it's more readable, so it's a little bit more work up front, I guess, but then it's very to me it's easier to debug. I'm not sure like if it's the best practice, but in my opinion, it's easier to debug that way. Okay, so what we want here is we want columns. So let's add the columns element here, and what we'll do is we'll delete this flex box because we actually don't need it. We'll have everything we need in here. So if I look at my public roadmap here, um, here basically I have I have 3 columns, and inside the columns I have a card, and these are all repeated items actually. So let me show you what I mean. So what we'll do first is how should I do this? What would be the easiest to explain? I think first thing is like here I'll show you the rollup. I think it's important. So here you have lots of no-code formulas. And so yeah, what you can do, and the reason I like to have basically when you get your data in WeWeb, the best practice is like one table equals one collection. Why is that best practice? Like in Zano, you could actually get everything from Zano and use add-ons to get where would I get this here? In the output, you could use add-ons to get all the data from related to that record. And in some cases, it's useful to do that, but most of the time, if you start using add-ons or if you start using lookup depth and Airtable, what we notice when we used to have the lookup depth setting in with the Airtable data. So here before you used to be able to say, okay, I want the lookup depth 1. So if there was a linked field related to another table in Airtable, you could see that. What we notice is that our users were loading way too much data, and they were loading data in pages where they didn't need that information. So there were a lot of performance issues, and it's just much cleaner to have like one table equals one collection. Or even in this case, the changelog tickets, one table equals two collection in this case. These are the tickets in production, and these are the tickets that are not in production. So that's the way I like to think about it, and I think it's helpful. But then you want to sometimes you need to link between the collections, the tables. So that's when like the lookup array and the rollup formulas really help. Now here I'm going to start with a rollup formula. So what you can hover on this and get a help basically. And what this does is you see that the first argument that the rollup formula wants is an array. So it's a collection. It's a list of items, and in that list of items, it will, if you pass it a key. Let me show you what a key is. So let's choose an array. I want to go and look at the data in my the tickets on my roadmap. So this is the array I'll choose. This here, the data one. And what I want is I want the public status X. So public underscore status X. That's the key. So in your array, in my collection is a list, an array of objects. You have one object here. This is another object. This is another object, and you see, those curly brackets signify an object. And in my object, so there are keys and values, like ID is a key, title is a key, description is a key, created as a key, and the value is the corresponding text you see here. So rollup expects a key, and the key I want is public underscore status X. So what I'll do is between quotes, public underscore status X. That's just because I had a public status. It was a duplicate column. I didn't bother changing the name. So what this does, you see that the distinct here in the tooltip, it's in between brackets. That's because it's only optional. By default, the value for distinct is false. And you see here that it repeats planned, under review, in progress, under review, planned, under review, under review, under review. So we actually we want only the unique status that are possible. So we'll say true because we want distinct to be true instead of false. Another way we could actually uh, type in distinct and that would work. But I kind of stumbled upon that by mistake, so I'll just follow true. And now you see that we have three, even though we only have one flex box here, we have three items. It seems like we have three items here. That's because there are three, the current value you see here is there are three different statuses. So let's change this into columns to make this clearer. And in the flex box, let's see if I can add some text. I might not be able to because the flex box is not. Yeah, I am able to. So one thing you need to know is when you bind a container, you can bind items, a collection to any container in WeWeb, but then the first child of this of that element will be a repeated item. So here, boom, I'll have the item data. And if I choose this, then suddenly you see I have those three statuses. Now, I might actually want to, I'll go a bit quickly to display the columns to do it this way. So let me see. What do I want? If I go back here, basically I have a card. I have an element on the top, an element on the bottom. So let's see if I can do, oh yeah, and I have in each column, I have a status. So let me unbind this. And here I will say, so this is actually one column. And inside the column, I will want, oops. In each column, I will want the status. So that can be the status container. I'll copy and, oops, and paste this, and this will be my ticket or my list of tickets. So in the status, I'll have a text. In my tickets, I'll have a container. Will be one ticket. And I'll show you, but basically the tickets will also, I will also bind to a collection. So the ticket will be a repeated item. So let's see. Yeah, that's fine. So let's see if here I can get this. And here my tickets. Well, my tickets, basically, I need them to be, what do I need them to be? I need them to be, so my tickets I will find in the roadmap tickets. But I want to, like in this column, in the column, I think planned, yeah. I only want the items of, I only want the tickets that are unplanned. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and filter by key. What this does is it takes an array, I give it a key, and it returns a new array with only the objects where the key match the value that I will pass it. So the array I want is the roadmap tickets. Yes. The key is still this public underscore status X. Now you see I have here is under review, even though I'm in the, I'm not in the under review other reviews are here. So here I have all the items. That's because I haven't yet told it what value I want to filter by. The value I want to filter by is the current item. So this one here. And now you see that I don't have the same number of tickets. Again, this is a repeated item, so in the HTML tree, you only get one ticket, but on the page it displays all the repeated items. And it will be much clearer when I add. Can I do that? I'm not sure now. Yeah, so I'll unbind this. Let me copy and because once you bind the parent element, you're not able um, to drag and drop stuff in there. So let me just get a container here. Boom. And let me get rid of this one. So the ticket, if I look at my ticket, I want this will be like top and bottom, basically. So let's name it accordingly. Um, in terms of naming conventions, that's just how I do it. Again, I'm not a developer, so there may be other practices. And here this will be what I have on the left, which is basically will be my upload button, and what I have on the right. Okay, so let's bind those tickets again. So filter by key, and I can type it in. Important though that I use the casing. So just for safety, it's easier. I'm used to it, but it's easier to just look for them here. Okay, so I want my roadmap tickets here. I want the public status X, and I want that to match the repeated item. Okay, and now I go, yeah, this is where I want my text. Okay, and it will be clearer now because I can bind to the repeated item, and you see here, that's what it looks like. So let's see, wait, looks very ugly. So let's, okay, this is vertical because I actually want this top thing to be above the bottom thing. Let's do just a little bit of formatting to help you see what's going on. Oops, border is 1. And I'll put a margin of 8 and padding of 8. So it's pretty ugly so far. And see, I see here, so my tickets will also be vertical. So they're below each other. And as I mentioned, the Kanban element is actually in progress. So what I'm showing you today, in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to do it just with a Kanban and work around with that and actually drag and drop elements from one column to the next to update them. It will make my life easier because instead of updating the public status here, when I'll update the public roadmap with a Kanban, I can just drag and drop it because I'll have the admin rights and I'll be able to drag and drop the status, which will be more fun than doing this manually in Zano in a database. Okay, so here, so I've got my title. It would be the same with the description. Boom. Oops. I can maybe center it or it's fine. We can. Okay, so it's this. Let me see. I actually don't want to center it. Oh, and the left is horizontal. So why is that? Oh no, this is left, right. So let's say I want that. Yeah. And I'll go. Okay, it's pretty ugly, but you get the idea. I think in here on the left, I'll add an icon so you can see here. Boom, and a little text. And here, what I'll do is I'll just replace this by one, the placeholder by one, so it makes more sense to you. Here on the left, I want this to be vertical. And we got that in like this. What I'll do is I'll add a little bit of margin here as well. And it's just so you can see that it's can kind of get a sense of what it would look like. The icon would be to change the icon, that would be here. Actually, this one will do. So that gives you an idea of what it would look like. And here, what I can do is I can go ahead and let's have a look if I have. Yeah, I actually have upvotes here, and the length is here. Okay, and the reason I have this information in the repeated item of the public outvotes is because in Zano I have this linked field. So the public upvotes are here, public upvotes here, and that's how I'm able to get the length. The length of the upvotes is of the upvotes collection is actually how many people have upvoted it. So you see here 50 reused styles, which matches this what we have here. Okay, so that's kind of for, I was going to say for the design phase, not really because it's not beautiful, but you get the idea here. Actually, in the bottom, we can add the tags as well. That will be interesting. Adding the tags here. So to add the tags, I would. Do I have the information here? Yes, I do. So I have the information here. But if I want to, let's say I want to, no, actually, let me, so I'm going to get rid of that. And this is going to be my tags tag actually. And then here we go. So here I can get the repeated items type. But here, what I would like to do, and actually let me add a little bit of padding. Boom. Oops. I want to do is I want to change the background color, and the background color, I don't have it here. I do have it in the ticket types. So in my collection ticket types, basically the name of a ticket is linked to the color. So what I need to do is I need to look up this array, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and look up. I'll do is I look up. So the lookup formula, it says, okay, you're looking for a value. Let me know which value you're looking for. So improvement is the value I'm looking for from my repeated item. So tell me which value you're looking for, where are you looking for it, and which array are you looking for it. So I'm looking for it in the ticket types, which are here. And what is the name, like what is the key of where I might find this value in this array? And in this case, it's name. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, there you go. So with the lookup, I'm saying, okay, I want the value improvement. I want to look for this value improvement in the collection ticket types, and it will be in the field in the column and called name, and that will return like the object, this entire object from the list. Now, my background color doesn't understand this. My background color needs this. So I have a few options. I could do it like this and get the color like this. And you see here the color is updated. I think I could do this. Yeah, it looks like I can. So see, yeah, that I could do this as well. Or I could use the filter by key. Oops. I could use the filter by key formula again, because remember, the filter by key formula looks at an array and, oh, will it work? So is this an array? Let me see if that works. Filter by key and color by key. Yeah, no, it won't. No, it won't work. So, yeah. So what you want to do is you can either use the dot notation. Sorry, with color, and the not dot notation is basically when. So if I take, sorry, you have an object. This is an object because you have key values, and which is why the filter by key formula isn't working. And the dot notation basically says, okay, you need to access the ID. You say dot ID. You need to access the color. You say dot color. And you can do exactly the same thing, but with brackets that way. Right. So that's how we get the tags. And let me change. It's not very important, but I find it annoying, so I will change the text color. All right. And so if I have this, I have that, and my tickets, I would actually like them. Yeah. From the top as well. Is that, do I have, yeah, that's a margin. I actually don't know. Not very pretty. Dum, dum. And what's that bottom margin here? There we go. Not very pretty, but you get the idea. Okay. That gives you a little bit of an overview for the rollup, the lookup, and the filter by key. Now, obviously, what we would like to do is we would like people to be able to upvote or downvote. So what we can do is here on the on this one, so on the left, and in my let me show you again the live version of this project. Um, in the live version of this project, we have the upvote button. We have three versions of the upvote button. We have when the user has voted, um, when the user, so yeah, we have when the user has voted, and it looks like this. We have, no, sorry, what? Downvote. Oh, I misnamed those. Let's look at one. Which one would that be? So we have, let me log out. Oh no, because if I log out of WeWeb. Basically, we have three options of the button. We have when the user is not when the user is not authenticated, when they click on the upvote, so I think it would be, let's see, let's look at them actually. So we have the upvote workflow. We have the, okay, this one does nothing. Voted and the download. Okay, so I'll need to fix that. It looks like we have a workflow that so we have the version when the user has not upvoted, so isn't authenticated, or we have two versions, sorry. We have the when the user is authenticated and has upvoted, it's this one. Then we have a second version where either the user is not authenticated, or the user is authenticated but hasn't upvoted yet. And for simplicity's sake, because if you get the logic for one, you'll get it for all of them. We'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and sorry, I hadn't seen the chat. Hey Xavier and Quentin is saying, I'd love to hear more about your one table, one collection theory. I have multiple API calls for the same table, but it queries different data from different pages. Yeah, I think, Quentin, that's the right approach. I mean, that's the approach I prefer. Maybe Xavier can contribute actually, because he's much more, he's like a database expert. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Sorry, I was in a, hadn't paid attention to the chat. I was in the flow. Yeah, maybe Xavier can share his opinion on that. But for me, so the one table, one collection theory, so to speak, it's just way easier to manage. And as I mentioned, like you, like for my sometimes I have two collections for one table. What's important, in my opinion, is that you don't have one collection for multiple tables, because then it gets really messy. It means that you're not separating your data enough. Like you're reloading too much data that you might not need in a specific case. So I prefer to like keep things um, atomic, like and have more control about where I'm using the data, especially because like something that's coming very soon as well. It may actually already be in production because the dev team is going so fast now. Like we had a huge release, so it blocked a lot of things, but now things are gonna speed up in the next couple of weeks. I think it's not in production yet, but will be very soon. As you will be able to choose on which pages each collection is loaded. So it makes even more sense to break down collections. Obviously, you know, if I wouldn't recommend having 30 collections if it doesn't make any sense. You know, maybe not break down every single thing. But in my case, I think it makes sense, for example, to have in here, I don't need the tickets that are in production. I don't need the tickets in production on this page. And on my product updates page, I don't need all the items that are currently on the roadmap. I only need the ones that are in production because this is a like basic change log. Um, and by the way, this is like super basic. So if you actually need to like we send them in by email, but if you need to review like changelog articles, they're actually on here on the website. But so in my case, I think here it makes sense to have two separate endpoints in Xano and only get that data. It makes sense for me to filter in the backend and not load all the you know, the current tickets here or the tickets that have already been in production, pushed to production here. But yeah, that's kind of a personal call, I guess. And Quentin, you were also saying the formulas are super useful with the collections. It would be really great if there were more explainer videos. Yes, I agree. And actually, you can't see it, but it's on my desk. I have a whiteboard desk, and it's on my desk. It's a priority tutorial. Um, yeah, we have an intro to um, in the docs, we have an intro to formulas, but you're right, it's like super high level. And it's actually, I think like this today is in the in the future, what I like to do is probably, take one example of a formula and show you like lots of different use cases where you can use it. But yeah. Um, where is that? In Yeah, Quentin, I think that's really the best approach. I mean, yeah, there are cases where you want to filter on the front end because it needs to be very reactive, and then you're dealing with a small set of data, so you don't need to go and refetch in the back end. But yeah, as soon as you have like big big collections, it makes more sense to filter in the back end. Uh, Kevin is asking, did I miss talking about the SPA update? Main question, when are variables updated, reset now, specifically with plugin data with the me endpoint? Um, I touched briefly on the SPA update, but basically just to say was your apps were now SPAs, and to share an article that Alexis, one of our devs, shared with us internally that I think is really cool in in the um, in the comments section. So I'll be sure here in case you don't have the history of comments. But to answer your question, I actually don't know. I haven't written the changelog yet, so I haven't. I don't know if anyone from the WeWeb team is on, if any of the developers are on and have the answer. Feel free to jump in. But that's actually, let me take a screenshot of your question because I will ask it. The idea is I'll write the change log this afternoon and Monday, and hopefully send it on Tuesday. And I'll ask the question. Because even for example, it's not clear for me yet for what I was showing earlier is like in the user doc currently, our user doc currently is multi-page. I haven't republished the project, but with the SPA, this sidebar, which is a linked element, won't be reloaded every time, and these will stay open. But I'm not sure if I need to take action or if I think it does it automatically, so I'll need to check. And Mark is asking if we can repeat the question. So yeah, here it is. It's did I like when are variables updated, reset with the SPA? And specifically what Kevin was trying to do is with the plugin data from the me endpoint. So I'm guessing, Kevin, you mean you need to refetch the user based on the questions you had in the community. I think that's it. I don't know if the question is clear for you, Mark. And also, I don't know, like this is a question from YouTube, and I'm wondering, I'm kind of silly sometimes, but I'm assuming people on Twitch can see this as well when I highlight it. I think so, but never know. And Kevin is saying yes, just wanting to determine when that is done. So when are the variables updated and reset? So I'm not sure. Let's see if Mark has an answer. Otherwise, I might reach out to you, Kevin, so you can give me more information. Okay, cool. Mariano is saying we see the question on the screen. That's good. Do you have any other questions actually before I dive in again? It's like okay. So yeah, what I was saying before, actually noticing you were actively participating. Sorry for forgetting about you. We can add a workflow on the upvote button here. So maybe what we can do is, yeah, we can. I want it to be clear, so I'll add here the container, which will be upvote. And here I'll add kind of a cancel vote. And so it's, I think it's not quite sure if I think when there's binding, sometimes I get mixed up as to what I can move or not. So let me just redo this quickly. Oops. Click on. I'll put it here. Also, having trouble drag and dropping elements in the HTML tree, but that's okay. Oops. No, no, that's not okay. Text is, I wanted. I feel like a monkey. I'm having having trouble drag and dropping things where I want it. Okay, let me get rid of this, and actually let me just copy paste this one. Be easier instead of wasting your time with my monkey fingers. Cancel vote. All right. And here we'll go again and get this one, and maybe here I'll have this one. And yeah, I actually don't need this. I'll just, oof. Okay, let's see. For now, I'm gonna hide the display of this one off. And the upvote, so this. This is fine. And why is it taking up all the space? That's probably not best practice, but it's annoying me, so I will do it this way. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. Sorry, we're doing a bit of what I had done already, so and here I can go and get the length of the public upvotes. Okay. And so yeah, basically on the upvote, no, it's the entire left I put. Okay, let me get rid of this, and I'll do it here instead. And padding here. Boom. Okay, and so on this, now I'm on the right, yeah. On here, I will add a workflow, and the workflow would be on click, and what will it do? It will add user vote. And what do I need to do now? I need to, I don't know why it's, oh, I actually never, I realize I haven't done a CRUD with the API, the Xano API. Sorry, so I've done many CRUDs with Xano using the REST API data source, but since we've had the Xano data source native plugin, I actually haven't done any CRUD. Okay, big answer from Graham TV. I'm not sure you're going to see it all on the screen, so let me read it. Users' data will now be fetched only once and will not be fetched again when you change page. Linked sections instances will not be reloaded on page change. This is automatic. This is automatic. No action needed on your side. The variables you created are reset between each page to keep the current behavior. And we will soon add an option on each variable to keep in between pages without having to add it to local storage. Nice. Very cool. Okay, so let's try this. I actually need, I don't think I have an endpoint for Okay, so I need to create my endpoint in Xano. CRUD, it will be upvotes, and I will post an upvote. And I'll keep the authentication disabled for now because I haven't set up Xano auth. Like the way we do it on the live project is the authentication we're using is token based. So we're using the same authentication system that we use for like the WeWeb app. That's so that so you don't have to, if you logged into the editor, you don't have to log in again to upvote systems. Yeah, we didn't want you to we didn't want to create another user table and everything. So we're using the WeWeb, the same authentication we're using for the app. So, but basically, what you could very well, like if you wanted to do the same project, you can install the Xano auth plugin and then make sure that the post, then you would make it um, you would enable authentication so that only authenticated users could post. And you would also add a precondition. Here you could add, I think I don't know if it's the conditional or if there's something else, but you can add a precondition. Uh, yeah, precondition. So you could add a precondition saying like the email or the auth token from actually better yet, the auth token um, from the authenticated user matches the yeah. So anyway, that you can add a little bit of security that way. We do it differently on the live project, but just so you know. Okay, so what did I want to do? I wanted to post this to be able to update this. Okay, let's see if that would work. Not sure. Let's see. So refresh. Boom. Awesome. Thanks, Quentin. So everybody sees everything. That's perfect. Roadmap and the endpoint is post, public upvotes. That should be automatic. And oh, I need an email. Okay, let me do it with Xana Auth real quickly. I will, so I can show you, and I think I have my Xana authentication. Yeah, so let me show you actually with Xana Auth, so that way you have it, you have everything. Token base, remove plugin, confirm. Boom. And now let's add Xana Auth. I'll add it. Login is here. Get me is here. And sign up is here. Boom. All right. When do you there is not okay. You don't need that. Okay. And now I'll go here. So here it's the workflow is wrong. Let me just do that. So on click, I will log in, and the email will be here, and the password will be there. Okay. Uh, oh, I forgot to change page. Let's see if I'm logged in. Yeah, password user. So actually, let me here after the login in your workflow, you would want to change page because otherwise you would be the user will wonder what happened, and I would want them to go to the roadmap. Oh, roadmap test actually, which is anyway. Okay, so we're here. Roadmap test is here, and now when let's create that, the email will be from our authenticated user. And wondering if we want, yeah. I'm thinking there might be a better way to do it with the access token, but for now, I'll do it like this. And the public backlog ticket. What? Let me see. Database upvotes. Okay. So it's an array, but I actually only need the ID here. I think Xana will expect an array, so let me send an array. Let's see if this works. Succeeded. Doesn't seem like it. What did I do? Did I change it? Public upvotes. What's the public upvotes? Can I sort? Sort created that. Why do I have several backlog tickets? I'm a bit confused here. Public upvotes. Let me check what it looks like in our database. Oh, okay. Kind of weird because I imported this morning and we have nothing from like it seems like it's missing a lot of the upvotes we had. Not sure the import went well. Okay, so what do I want to do? I have I actually don't need this. So let's see. Yeah, I don't care about this. How can I hide this input? And then actually only want to send, just want to send one. Let's see if I run and debug. So let's say just run this. Run both. Yeah, but I don't care about that. Is that Required no. Oh, no, okay. I hadn't seen it. Okay, it's because we have 500. Okay, so let's see if let's do it the other way, descending. Okay, so it actually worked. It was confusing to me. Okay, so let's just think I probably can hide it. All right, so it did actually work the first time, and so I'm pretty much good to go, except I would want, no, because I would want to, so right now I'm posting, posting the upvote, so I'm updating Zano, but what I want to do is then I want to refetch, um, my tickets, my public tickets. Roadmap tickets are here. And so if let's test another one so that, mm, so what am I doing? Let's see, I've got my upvotes. Mm. It's too bad it doesn't save that. Created at descending. Boom. Okay, so this I upvoted the Kanban element. So why don't I have 10 now? Um, do something wrong. Elections, roadmap tickets. Is it bound to? It's bound to public upvotes. Okay, so I have to refetch both. Phew. Refetch upvotes. Refetch upvotes, and refetched roadmap tickets. And I should actually get what? I'm confusing myself. Okay, let's try this again. So I'm posting this. It is working. I think it's working. Let's try it. That. Descending. Boom. Yes, I upvoted twice. Then what I did is I refetched the user upvotes. And the user upvotes are coming from upvotes. That's fine. Hmm. So am I missing something here? I am, but what is it? So if I refetch here, why is that not? So this is bound to the public upvotes. Let's expand all. My tickets are bound to roadmap tickets. Makes sense. And here I'm roadmap tickets. So if I refetch, both this and that. Completely confused. Okay, let's try this again. I test the action and I post now refetch upvotes. No, but I don't get the result of upvotes. So let's see, user upvotes. I guess I'm not sending the right data here. Public element tickets. So then if I go here, we get the Kanban element. Let me just, it'll be user email. So I'm just switching screens. Let me just check in the base that. Okay. It's okay. The issue here is that so this doesn't seem to be a linked field for there's a like here my upvotes don't appear. That's why it's not working. So I'm on the Kanban element when let me check again. It looks like maybe I was looking at a different line. Yeah. So in the so it's a Xano thing. I must have set up Xano poorly because in here, my upvotes are not appearing. So even though they appear here, public backlog tickets, they're not appearing here. So I think I did something wrong in Xano. I just imported the Airtable base. But anyway, so that's you get the idea. I need to look into it because I'm not sure. It's the first time I did an import like from Airtable to Xano, so I think there's something I messed up. But basically, there's something here that I need to change on the Xano side because what's happening now is that okay. I can refetch the upvotes all I want. Like the roadmap tickets do not have the data from my upvotes. So yeah, I'll need to check that. But if I show you, let me show you in the live project so you get the whole picture. In the live project, so I go ahead and upvote. I use a global workflow so that it's easier to debug basically because you have all your workflows here and also you can reuse them elsewhere if you needed to. So here we're using Airtable and we're let me check if the user emails here as well. Before I show you. Yeah, no, so this is the oops. This is the ID, the backlog ID that we have So here in the Upvote configuration, we give it a backlog ID. It could be a ticket ID really, and so we pass it we give it um, the ID of the ticket, and that way when we create the record, we say, this is the email of the user, and this is the ticket that they're upvoting, and it just creates a new record. So in Airtable, we're gonna switch to Asano, but, um, but yeah, so that's how it works, and hopefully that's fairly clear. I think for the public roadmap, it pretty much covers what I wanted to show you. Unless you have like questions about it, I can um, yeah, I can try to answer them. Oh yeah, maybe just so this is what I talked about before. Like now I'm authenticated and I upvoted the branching and workflows. So the voted button will will look different basically, and we'll have a little check mark. And if I hover, if I go into preview mode, I can it invites me to cancel my upvote. There we go. So that's yeah, I think that's covers pretty much everything. Oh yeah, the search and the select, I mean, and the multi-select, we have dedicated tutorials on that, so I'll let you look it up in the user doc. I think that select, yeah, you have the multi-select here and the search. Um, oh, interesting. I don't. We have. Let's see if we have. I'm sure we have videos, but maybe I didn't add them here. Maybe. Um, Looks like maybe I didn't add the search tutorial in the user doc, but you can find it. You'll have it here. And can I search the search? Yeah. So, for example, in this use case, we explain how we did exactly this page, and you have this video here, add a search bar, which can be helpful. Okay, so let's take a few questions from the community. I just wanted to look quickly at um, at a project that where is it? Oh yes, this one has been open for a little bit, so um, I'll have a look and just let's see. Actually, let's go back to the community. I need to look at which page he needs help with. So let me. By the way, when you send a question in the community, it's so helpful um, when you provide a loom, which is in the users one. Okay, so let's duplicate the users, add new page, users. Okay, actually, it'll be more explicit. So, yep. Okay, so the idea was okay. I keep moving away from the question. Uh, all right, so the so initial value is, oh, we need to click. Okay. Okay, cool. So he has a workflow where it updates, I'm assuming it updates a selected line. Yes, it updates select line. So here He has the IDs of the apps, which is great. And then what is the issue? Uh, Update the record. Okay, so the record ID is what? Uh, okay, the record ID must be in our selected line. For this one. The username is selected line. All right. And the apps would be uh-huh. No. Airtable will want Airtable will want what? Uh, okay, Slack QuickBooks initial value. Options will be confused as to what he's trying to do. So I'm not sure what he's trying to do. What's for sure is that in the workflow here, Airtable needs an array of IDs. So it needs the IDs of Slab and QuickBooks. So I'm going to test the workflow here and I'll get a 422, I think. Yes. And we can look at the response and invalid. Slab is not a valid record ID. So that's how that's how you can tell if you look at the response. So if you're working with Airtable response data, you get invalid record ID and the value slab is not a valid record ID. So that tells you that you need to send record IDs to Airtable. In order to, they must be a cleaner way to do this. I'm not sure the binding here is done correctly, but for the demonstration's sake, what I'll do here is we have, so here, I think that's where we have the name of the apps. So what I'll do is I will look up the array. Do I want to look up array or look up? Let's first try the lookup. So what I want to do is I will want to look up this. No, so it's lookup array. So lookup. So here we have an array of values, and what so the array values are our first argument, and we want to look in the array of apps, and this one here, we want to check the values we have here in our current collection against this app name. So app name. No, we don't want that. We want the record ID. So we want no, we want that. We want the app name. We want to look for the app for the array app name. Yes, but then we want the ID. Like it here. So now I have this, and now I want to create an array. Do that yet. Um, need to roll up, and I roll up. So yep. Let's try this. Yep. Okay. So what I did is first I looked for the the names of the update of the apps in the app collection, and because the app names had a the key was app name, so that's why I chose that. And once I had my two objects with the correct names, so Slab and QuickBook, excluding the third one, which the third one is um, so we have QuickBooks, we have Outlook. So the third one is Outlook. So once I had only QuickBooks and Slab because that's the one I needed, I'm able to do a roll up, and from that array, from those two objects. So sorry, maybe it's going too quickly. From those two objects, I only want to return the IDs. So I'll do a roll up, and I'll roll up the, and now I have two Airtable records. And I think that will work. Yes, that will work. So that's it for that community question. I understand it's completely tricky, and I know I need to spend a little bit of time to so we have documentation the on the lookup array and rollup formula, but it's not those are not the most intuitive uh, formulas. So one of the things I want to do in the near future is I need to take the time to think of, like, I wrote these like right when we released them, and I gave a few examples from the public roadmap actually. But I think when I wrote them, I kind of lacked an overview of what they do and other use cases when you can use them. So I'm not sure they're the best articles in the user doc, but I will spend some more time on these. Um, anyway, I think that'll do it for today. It was an experiment, so hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you have any ideas, like anything you'd like us to talk about, like, don't hesitate to ask us. We're obviously, uh, almost always available. Like, we try to rest in the evening and on weekends, but we're pretty open and available. So don't hesitate to to reach out to us in the community or in the chat or on Twitter. And we'll try to do one of these like every Friday at the same time. If the time doesn't work for you, let us know as well. It would be interesting to know. It's kind of tricky to do it later because in France, basically, it's almost the weekend, so it's kind of hard to commit to doing it 3 hours later every Friday. But maybe a different day would be better. Let us know really any feedback you have. We're more than we always consider it, so don't hesitate to share with us. And yeah, that was a bit of an experiment, and we'll keep iterating. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Basically, bye. Have a great weekend.